So, continuing here in 2.4 on lines in Trig, we have find the equation of a line through this point that is also parallel to this. So, basically what we need to do first is we're going to take this and we're going to put it into slope intercept form. So, a minus a 6x on both sides. So, we get 3y equals negative 6x plus 4. So, I divide both sides by 3. And when I do that, I get y equals, that's a negative 2 and a 4/3. So I need an equation of a line through this point that is also parallel to this line. Well, if it's parallel to this line, that means it has the same slope as this line. So what that means is this slope needs to be the same in that equation. So what I have is y equals negative 2x plus b. To find out what b is, find out what that is, I'm going to take this point and plug it in. That's x. And that's y. So I plug it in. It gives me negative 10. I add 10 to both sides, and I get 3 for b. So my final answer, I plug the 3 in there, and I get y equals negative 2x plus 3. That's a line that goes through this point and is also parallel to that line at the same time. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. Opposite reciprocals. So 2 and negative 1/2, right? Opposite reciprocals. Negative 3 and 1/3 opposite reciprocals. So find the equation of a line through this point that's perpendicular to this. Well, we solved it already. We said that we got y equals negative 2x plus 4/3, right? Because we get negative, we move the x over, then divide by 3. So perpendicular line is opposite reciprocal. So opposite would be positive, reciprocal would be 1/2. So it would be 1/2 x plus b. Take this point and plug it in. So that is a 5. That is a negative 7. So 1/2 times 5 is 5/2. I had minus 5/2 to both sides. Negative 7 minus 5/2. I need to find a common denominator, so I multiply both the top and the bottom by 2. Negative 14 over 2 minus 5 over 2 gives me negative 19 over 2. So I plug that in right there, negative 19 over 2. And there is your final answer, negative 2x. Sorry, not negative 2x. Sorry, not negative 2. 1/2 x minus 19 over 2. So you have a line given A and B. Find the general form of a perpendicular bisector of the line segment AB. So first, perpendicular means opposite reciprocals. So I need to find the slope of AB. So that is change in y. So 4 minus 1 over change in x. 5 minus negative 3. So that is 3 over 8. So there's the slope, which means the opposite reciprocal is negative 8/3. So we have our slope, but now we need our point to plug in. So the problem says perpendicular bisector. Bisector means midpoint. So I need to find that midpoint of these two. So negative 3 plus 5, because we're finding the average of the x's, the average of the y's, and 1 plus 4 there. So I get 2 over 2 and 5 over 2, which is 1 and 5/2. So there's the point I'm plugging in, and there is my slope that I'm looking for. So y equals negative 8 over 3 x plus b, and that's what I'm plugging in. So x, that becomes a 1. That becomes a 5 over 2. Negative 8/3 times 1 is negative 8/3. I add 8/3 to both sides to figure out what b is. Find common denominators by multiplying that by 3 on both sides, multiplying this by 2 on both sides. So I end up with 15 over 6 and 16 over 6, which is 31 over 6. So I put a 31 over 6 in there for that, and there is my answer. Find the line of best fit that approximates the following data on world record times for women's 100-meter dash. So here is the years, and here's the seconds for 100-meter dash. Find a regression line using a calculator. So here are the steps. First step, go to Stat to find your list and edit your list. Type in your values in the two columns. So in L1 and L2, you're going to type in your values, which were the years and the times. Then you want to go to Stat and then Calc, and that's basically the second trace there. Scroll down till you get to linear regression. Press enter and enter again, and once you do that, you will get negative 0.02 and 50.76. What that means is this is your slope. This is your y-intercept, is basically what it means.
Revenge is sweet, Space Ghost.
If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. I hope that helped in this chapter. It's not a big chapter. We weren't going into a lot of detail in chapter 2 for the specific reason that it was a lot of review that you even had in geometry, so not as big as what chapter 3 will be. If you have any questions, please let me know.